Alright guys, this is the next episode about the Boxster that I purchased as the flood damaged, and I got it on a lift, and this is how it looks like underneath the engine. It's already spilled quite a few drops of whatever fluid it is, and I took like a white paper with the schematics about this Boxster actually, and I kind of tried to see what's the color of the liquid is, and it's dirty brown, grayish, I would say. It's not brown like the old oil. I think most likely it's oil from the transmission, or transmission fluid. At least it seems to me that way. Let me take the light, some more lumens, and I'll show you. So this is how it looks with some extra light. It's an absolutely horrendous. It's wet in here, as you can see. It's wet everywhere. It's like a nasty stuff going on here, and it's very hard to see where it comes from because this stuff is everywhere. I would speculate it may be coming from the oil pan seal, maybe not, because I do see some stuff where the, let me try to give you a better picture, maybe where the axles are coming from. Maybe not. The transmission liquid may go upstairs kinda. So if it drops or coming from here, it may show up also if it's coming from the top, when it's not really. The engine, I think it also suffers from the same fluid that comes maybe from the maybe it's like input shaft seal in the transmission. The oil pan in the engine is fairly dry for the most part, and I think this stuff comes probably from the transmission. Even it looks like yellowish, like the engine oil. Absolutely gross. So I think the first order of operation is gonna be to spray a bunch of brake clean here, just to attempt to clean it somehow. I already ordered the replacement gasket for the transmission pan, new fuel plugs, and I guess new drain plug, or maybe just seals for them or O-rings for them, I don't recall. But I'm gonna replace the transmission for sure. Replace the transmission fluid for sure. And once I'm gonna clean it, I guess it's gonna be more obvious to note where all this liquid is coming from. In overall, there is okay condition for the for the car part. It had some damage probably from the forklift right here, but it's just the kind of plastic stuff underneath. I also noticed there is the leak from the left strut or shock absorber. It's kind of oily in here, and the whole shock absorber is oily, so I'm fairly certain it comes from the shock absorber. Bumper needs some attention right here and right here, but in overall it's not bad for the old beater. I think it should be fun car. It still has It still have some tread left on the wheels. However, as you can see, it's dry rotted. Interesting, what's the date on those? It's from 2014, so it's 8 years old rubber, which needs to be replaced. What about the front ones? The front ones is from 2019 with a very deep tread. This one, it looks like, let's check when this one was replaced. It's also 14, so it's got 4 old tires and one, fairly new, and Continental. And those are actually different, looks like different models, so it's probably may need a whole set of tires. Okay, it's getting better and better. So yeah, that's the game plan to begin with. Clean this out and change the transmission oil. I wasted probably 5 cans of brake clean just to clean this area, so at least I could work here. In order to replace the transmission fluid, first of all, it needs to be in the operating temperature, because transmission fluid expands quite a lot, which means if it's gonna be hot, once we're gonna remove the drain plug, more fluid gonna come out comparing if the fluid would be cold. So I'm gonna start the car right now, and while it's heating up, I'm gonna undo those 2 bolts from each side for the sway bar, lower it, so we could then later on undo all the bolts and remove the transmission pan. So while it's running, let's undo those bolts. Now we have all the space we need to remove the pan when it's gonna be time to do that. Meanwhile, I will pre-loosen the plugs for refill and for the drain. It is 17mm hex for the fuel plug. All right. No idea what's the size for the fuel plug. Let's try 8. Yeah, that's 8 for sure. Okay, those plugs are okay to be removed. Now I'm gonna simply wait for the transmission to warm up, and then we're gonna drain the fluid. The transmission temperature is right now very warm to the touch. I don't know. Probably need some force. The other problem, this container is not totally empty. Hopefully it's gonna be enough to drain all of the fluid. Well, I would like to erase this table slightly. I have the replacement bolt in case this is gonna fall down in the container, but I'll try to save it. And also, while it's not too late, I'm gonna grab the paper towel because I got the feeling I'm gonna need it. All right. Okay. No casualties. Now let's hope the container gonna be large enough. The color is, I would say, it's kind of nasty, which is understandable. So I guess it's gonna take some time to drain it, and I'm gonna be back with you once it's done. It's almost stopped dripping, and I'm gonna be replacing this like old and pitted bolt with a brand new one. Got it from FCP Euro. And let me clean the mating surface, and I'm gonna put this new bolt in and torque it to 40 Newton meters. All right, torqued. Now I'm gonna remove the pen, and they advise to use crisscross pattern, even to undo the bolts to prevent warping of the panel. So that's what I'm gonna do now. I'm gonna leave a couple bolts so the panel or the pen doesn't fall completely. Just gonna loosen them slightly. Like this one. The panel is loose. I'm gonna carefully remove the remaining bolts, hopefully. And one last bolt. I guess some fluid gonna come out now. Oh, just a little bit. The gasket pretty much falls apart. So I am now removing the filter. It's T40, 2 screws, I guess 2. Right, both screws removed. Let's try to obtain Alright, perfect. The filter came along with the O-ring, so that's good news. We don't need to fish out the O-ring from the hole. I'm gonna let it drip probably for another, I don't know, few moments. Then I'm gonna clean the mating surface of the transmission, and then I'm gonna clean the transmission pan. And probably we're gonna continue the recording tomorrow, because right now it's getting actually dark already, and probably it's not a bad idea to leave it to drip overnight. Doesn't hurt for sure. And the sway bar is actually helping right now. This is our new plug. The magnets are on the top. Let's check out how the magnets looks like. Come on. 2 magnets, definitely a lot of friction material, but none of the any like a metal stuff, which is good. Yeah, it's just a friction material. Okay, I'm gonna clean the pan, the area, the mating surface, install the filter, and we're gonna go further. As you can see, it's much lighter or brighter right now because it's a new day, and it's been dripping for the entire night. And I used this tool. It's like a scraper, and it's got a carbide tip, and it's very true and flat. So this is the perfect tool to use to remove the remainders of the gaskets. If you hold it very parallel, it's very sharp, but because it's true, it's gonna do just the removal of the gasket. It won't gouge the surface. I used it quite a few times, and it's really a lifesaver. Sometimes even like the gas or solvents doesn't do the job to remove to clean the surface, but this guy works almost every single time. So right now I'm gonna install the new replacement filter back in place. 2 bolts, they're pretty much hand tight, very light torque, and then I'm gonna put a new seal or gasket, and we're gonna put the pan back in place. I also cleaned the magnets. Here they are. They had like quite a lot of friction material on them, but no any metal chunks, which is very good. and they did their job. I'm gonna put them back in the pan, which is also already cleaned right here, so it's ready, you know, for reverse assembly. Right, let's loop the gasket of the filter slightly with the old fluid, just like that, and install it carefully back in place. Just like that. So 2 bolts are going back, 1 bolt from this side, one bolt from the other side. Very slightly. I'm gonna wipe again the mating surface area, lower the car because I got the brand new gasket sitting on the top of the dashboard. Then I'm gonna raise the car again and put the pan back in place. Okay. I'm gonna carefully position it. Okay, looks like visually everything is still sits in place. Few bolts around the perimeter. Okay, what did I use? No torque, just slightly secure it. And you definitely don't want to cross-thread it. This is gonna be a bad thing. So it's better to start with the hands. Okay, now we're gonna tie them with the torque wrench. I wanna make the final inspection, and the gasket looks to be sitting properly everywhere, which is good. This is the torque sequence for this pen, and the torque number is 11 Newton meters or 8 pound-feet of torque. So the bolt number 1 is number 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is the bolt number 1. So we start from here, then go here, then go here, then go here. So, and do this pretty much the reverse order as we untightened the pen. Let me set up my torque wrench to 11 Newton meters, and we'll proceed further. Alright, looks like the pen is tightened. Let's check, maybe we can, yeah, we can put the sway bar back in place at this point. I am getting ready for the fill-in procedure for the transmission fluid, and I got Pentacin ATF6. I also got the fill plug with a brand new O-ring, and I installed this transfer pump thing inside the fill opening, and the fill procedure gonna consist of 2 pieces pretty much, or 2 parts. We're gonna fill the pen right now until we see the liquid is dripping from this opening, and then we're gonna start the car and we're gonna warm up the transmission up to the range between 30 and 40 or 45 degrees Celsius, and that's gonna be the temperature was gonna allow us to properly put a fluid level. Smells nasty, that means that's a good stuff. Okay, now it's time to start the car. I'm gonna use the infrared thermometer and I'm gonna wait until the temperature in the transmission fluid gonna reach somewhere between 30 and 40 or maybe 45 degrees. Okay, we are at 40, 41, 42 degrees. I guess that's pretty much it. I put slightly 6, actually probably slightly less than 6 liters, maybe 5.5 liters of oil in, and now we're gonna torque it. I guess it's like 80 pounds or actually 80 Newton meters. All right, need to turn off the car and clean all this mess, and then we're gonna put the shield back again. Clean this underbelly, and unfortunately no one gonna see this side, but the bottom looks not much worse. I remember there was a trick. There you go. Nothing to torque yet. Let's slightly torque it. No, this one is not there yet. Are you now? Whew. All right, that's the wrap with the transmission fluid replacement. But I'm thinking, while we're here, why not we replace the engine oil too? The engine is still warm because we heated up the transmission. Right now I am very curious if it's gonna be enough space in the container, because there's the transmission fluid in there. And I'm not sure what is the total volume of the oil. Doesn't like please be enough. Please. Yes, we got lucky on that one. It's gonna take some time, so I'll get back to you later once it's gonna stop dripping. Let's check while the other thing is draining if the combination of this rag and oil filter range gonna be enough to undo it. Not really. Yeah, looks like it goes. Good. Is it? Or I was tricked? No, yes, it's going. Yeah. Pretty tight, but it goes. That's all we need. Okay, the oil is barely dripping now. Clean this. I'm gonna put this new bolt right here, and it's gonna be torqued to 50 Newton meters. Alright. Torque wrench. Alright. Give it back. Okay, I'm gonna try to remove the filter now. What are the odds it's gonna fall into this opening? I guess I better check. Okay, we still have probably half a liter of space. It's not bad. Ooh, I thought it's gonna be much worse than that. Guys, unbelievable. I didn't do much mess. I put the filter housing to drain for a couple moments. That's it. Okay, I'm gonna remove the old o-ring, put the new filter in, checks, click, put a new o-ring back. Come on. Alright. And since there is still plenty of old oil right there, let me move this away. Right there. Still plenty of old oil. We don't need to actually loop this o-ring. It's even more than enough right in there. Hand tight pretty much is the only is what you need. Maybe just a slightly more, literally just slight. That's it. Now it's time to clean the mess here, and put some fresh oil. Day number 3 from the longest oil change, at least in my experience. Transmission seal looks like doesn't leak anywhere. I took a look just in case, because this seal didn't look so promising to me. It's like literally like a paper seal or gasket, whatever you want to call it, but looks like it's holding fine. I just need to put the engine oil back, but last night before going to sleep I was thinking that I forgot something. And do you remember those guys? So the magnets from the oil pan. So looks like it's gonna be second flush for the transmission, which is probably not too bad. I didn't plan on doing that, but looks like that's on my list to do. And this time though it should be easier, because when I'm gonna drain the fluid, I'm gonna know exactly how much I drained, and I'm gonna feel exactly the same amount. So I won't need to do again and like heat cycle procedure, you know, for the correct level, because it's already correct level now in there. But you know, yeah, regardless, I'm gonna put the engine oil now while I didn't forget to do so, and I don't think it's gonna hurt to run this car for a few miles without the magnets. Especially I didn't find any metal shavings on them, on just the friction material. So, and I'm gonna be waiting for the new 3 or 4 liters of this transmission fluid to come in, because I still have about 2.5 liters in my possession, brand new. So it's gonna be double transmission fluid flush. Okay, let's lower the car and put some oil in the engine. The manual calls for 8 liters, but I'm gonna start with 7 liters, I think, and proceed as necessary. I'm gonna be using liquid moly 5W40, and the interesting thing about this oil, it's got some additive that you can use the black light, and let's say if there is the oil spill, you can use the oil black light and see where the spill comes from. Okay, it's 7 liters now. Let's put the cap back in place. And let's start the car and see what level it's gonna show us. Looks like it's gonna take some time for the oil to measure. It shows me 59 minutes. What if I'm gonna turn it off and turn it on if it's reset? Okay, it's going forward. Alright, so I'm gonna leave it like that and come back in an hour. That's nice. Just 1 hour to measure the oil. Great. I'm not sure how much time passed, but probably around an hour. Let's check it out. Okay, oil level low, so we can add probably half a liter. Okay, let's see what's gonna be half a liter oil later. Okay, up to the max. We're good with the oil. Just not with the transmission fluid. Guys, it's gonna be the wrap for the series of transmission and engine oil replacement. Despite I'm gonna do the transmission flush pretty much again in a week or two, just to put the magnets in. And stay tuned for the next episodes about this Boxster. Stay tuned.